Resting sucks in Pathfinder 2e. Howdy, my name is Nonat, and I've been thinking about making this video for a while. In fact, I technically made it like 2 or 3 years ago, but don't worry about that. I was in a really dark place. That video sucked ass. I looked like this. Now I look like this. So why do I start a video by talking about how much resting sucks? Well, part of it is because I've never used the resting system in Pathfinder 2e. I've been playing this game for 5 years, and I think it's absolute garbage. I know the base rules, and that was enough for me to say, you know what? No, we're gonna take a note out of the D&D book from this one. Long rest, get all your hit points back. We're good. Let's move on to the next day. But then I realized I don't actually know how resting works. Rules as written, every single little detail of it. And so I decided to start looking into the rules, and I grabbed my player core, which is over there, and I should have had in my hands for a prop because it would have looked better. So I was looking through my player core, and I couldn't find resting. I'm like, this is a basic player activity. Where is resting? I'm already, this is a bad sign. I'm talking about how bad resting is. I can't even find it. I open up my GM core table of contents, and I'm like, okay, what? I don't see resting. I see, encounters, exploration, downtime. Is it in downtime? Could not find it in downtime. So I went to the one place that never lets you down. Archives of Nethys, baby, let's go! They should really be sponsoring this channel at this point. Archives of Nethys, I will let you sponsor the channel for $1. And I will do an ad plug for you. And I looked, and resting is in the GM core. It's under exploration, which, like, in retrospect, I'm like, that makes sense. I suppose you do rest as part of exploring, but it's not in the table of contents, and I didn't think enough to look through the entire exploration chapter. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe I'm just stupid. Let me do another take of that. I'm just stupid. Let's look at resting word for word to see if A, I still absolutely hate this subsystem, and B, another reason. Can you tell I didn't script this? You should like the video. Characters require 8 hours of sleep each day, though resting typically happens at night. A group gains the same benefits for resting during the day. Either way, they can gain the benefits of resting only once every 24 hours. That's pretty typical standard fare for any adventure-based TTRPG. A character who rests for 8 hours recovers in the following ways. Yep, here it is. All right, we've reached the crux. This is where I stopped reading the resting rules because I didn't care anymore. The character regains hit points equal to their Constitution modifier multiplied by their level, minimum 1. This means if your character has a Constitution of 0 or -1, you get 1 hit point back on a long rest. Now, obviously, this is exaggeration. It's a straw man argument because treat wounds exist, because healing focus spells exist, because the heal spell exists. Obviously, long resting is not designed as the main way to get your hit points back. But here's my counter argument. If those things exist anyway, why have the long rest not just restore you to full in the first place? That is one thing I will give, like, D&D 5e, is that on a long rest, your hit points are maxed. Just all your resources are full. You know that there are some rules as written tables out there, and I'm not poo-pooing them. If you have fun with this, you have fun. I just don't want to play at this table where they're like, okay, everybody, gain equal to con times your level, and okay, you're not full hit points. All right, well, I'm gonna need some treat wounds checks. Oh, that was only a 14. You're gonna have to wait an hour now to do it again. You can spend your heal spell. No? Okay, alright, you only got 1 hit point back from your long rest. Time to keep on with the adventure. That sounds miserable. I don't want to play that. Just restore the hit points to full. What is this con times level thing? It's not like it's a short rest thing. If you're long resting, you have time. People are just going to spam treat wounds until they're full anyway. Oh, also, if you rest without any shelter or comfort, you only restore half at the GM's discretion. That one, it's still a minimum of 1 HP, so 0 Constitution, gang, rise up. You can sleep on the dirt, you can sleep in the nicest bed, you're still only getting 1 hit point back, doesn't hurt you none. Now, the cool part of Pathfinder 2e's rest system is that it does interact with two conditions, namely fatigued and doomed. These are two of my favorite conditions. Fatigued is brutal. I think it's just -1 to armor class and all saving throws, so you want that gone. But unlike D&D, fatigued doesn't stack. You can technically go without sleep for a while. I'm actually curious if there are rules for that. I don't remember. Because I don't think fatigued gets worst. Worst. There's no T in that word. Did I say it interacts with two conditions? It interacts with three, because counting is hard. Drained and doomed are awesome. Drained, reducing your max hit points, and doomed, reducing your dying threshold, meaning if you're doomed enough, you can just die forever when you go unconscious. I like that those only go down on a long rest or with powerful magic, and even then those magics aren't a guarantee. That's something I've learned. I've been playing in a D&D 5e campaign for the last 5 months, and I'm really having a good time, but one of my big complaints is that a lot of effects they can just be removed. There's no spell check, there's no saving throw, it is just, if you have remove curse, you remove the curse. But wait, DM, wasn't this person cursed by the level 19 Archlich that we're trying to hunt down, who is destroying the world with a curse of undeath? Yep! I'm a level 5 cleric. Yep! I promise this video isn't me shitting on 5e. I'm enjoying my time playing 5e, but that is a big complaint I have. Why does Dispel Magic need a spell check, but remove curse, and it does... moving on. Listen, if Jacob can bitch about the Pathfinder 2e rogue needing flanking, I can bitch about not needing a spell check. So I like that these two conditions, drained and doomed, are inherently reduced on a long rest, especially because they are some of the most difficult to remove with magic. But unless they are specifically permanent, like from a disease or a spell's specific effect, they go away automatically on resting. You're not completely screwed to live with this condition, you just have to survive with it as long as you can until your long rest can reduce it. And of course, spellcasters get all their spell slots back on a long rest. That is to be expected. That is some nice, simple stuff. Like, I guess my big issue with resting is just the stupid hit point thing. In a world of renewable healing resources in Pathfinder 2e, it just feels dated. It almost made more sense in the base rules. In the base rules of Pathfinder 2e back in 2020, the game didn't have nearly as much renewable healing. There were less focus points, which could just be gotten back every 10 minutes. There were still some. Champions could still lay on hands for 6 hit points per spell level, but even then, you know, the treat wounds existed, lay on hands existed. After like 6 months, the Blessed One archetype existed. Everybody could do this. I'm actually curious. It has a section here on watches and surprise attacks, and I'm curious what it says. Adventuring parties usually put a few people on guard to watch out for danger while the others rest. Spending time on watch also interrupts sleep, so a night schedule needs to account for everyone's time on guard duty. The watches and rest table indicates how long the group needs to set aside for rest. Okay. Maybe I'm just a really nice GM. Sound off in the comments if I'm just way too nice of a GM. I just make it take 8 hours. If they're like, yeah, we need to watch. We need to watch. We have a 4-person party. You watch for 2 hours. You watch for 2 hours. You watch for 2 hours. And you watch for 2 hours. I'm like, that's 8 hours. Sure, technically everyone's only getting 6 hours of sleep. But according to this game, according to this table, what? A group size of 4 would technically take 11 hours. Because they did the math. And it's nice that there's a table to do the math for you. But I don't know, that just seems like a slap in the face. Like, ooh, your long rest technically takes 10 hours and 40 minutes. It takes 8. I don't care about bogging down my game with bookkeeping like this. Unless it's really gonna matter, it takes 8 hours. Even when they get interrupted, again, for the 5th time, maybe I'm just a really nice GM, but if my party gets like attacked in the middle of the night and they have to fend people off, at most I'm like, okay, you rested for 9 hours because of that little interruption. Because the interruption, you know, it's a combat. It tends to take like 6 in-game minutes at max. That would actually be an insanely long combat. So, you know, it's 3 minutes of in-game combat, 5-10 minutes of decompressing and going back to sleep. I'm like, okay, yeah, add 30 minutes to the rest, an hour to the rest. But 11 hours is the average 4-person long rest. Because each watch needs to be 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's crazy. You know, I thought this video would be longer. I remembered there being a lot more rules to resting. I was wrong. So yeah, at the end of the day, This is an 11-minute video for me to verbally say how much I dislike the unnecessary hit point regain on a long rest. I wish I had more to say about this. I just felt like I needed to. Pathfinder 2 is such a tight, well-made game that something like this just sticks out like a sore thumb to me. It's something that me and my groups joke about all the time, about like, yeah, why would we ever not restore to full HP? Because if you don't do that, the group is just going to spam treat wounds checks until everyone's full anyway. So what's the point? Especially once you are past the point of easily being able to succeed and crit succeed treat wounds checks, it just becomes a nothing burger. You know, I want my resting, if it's going to be tracked, I want it to be impactful. You know, resting is a great opportunity to tell stories for individual characters as they're on watch, as they experience something that's cool. I don't think resting needs to be a mechanical thing beyond you get your stuff back, drained and doomed, go down. Simple as that. I find the part of resting that I enjoy to be the watches, you know, the watches, what they encounter, what they don't encounter, what they experience, does something attack, do people have to wake up? That is all the interesting part to resting for me. Otherwise, I do try to skip through it as fast as possible. Because why would you want to spend your precious time playing Pathfinder just calculating how many hit points you get back and then spamming treat wounds checks? Am I exaggerating? Yes. Am I reaching for a video topic? Yes. Did I just want to talk about sleep because I was in a depressive stupor for the last 6 days and I spent the entire time sleeping 12 hours a day and I thought about how I wasn't getting many hit points back? Yes. Good night.